Hey, it's Down Home with Tina. Welcome to this week's show. I'm excited because this week and next week, I'm going to be highlighting every guest. Shh, they don't know that yet. I just told them I'd love to have them on to talk about the things that they're doing. This week's guests are two amazing women. They are both into exercise. One has a business and she offers several different services that has to do with health and fitness. The second guest is one who has another type of business that we'll talk a little bit about. She's got a countertop business, and then she's also been doing something. And it's really awesome, folks, because they're giving back to the community in a way to help to motivate them to keep moving, I think is the best way to say it. And I want to just give something to them to help them know how worthy and valuable and awesome that they are. And with that being said, I want to make sure that you will stick around. I have a website, it's downhomewithtina.com, and on my website I have been doing a blog, and I have a blog that I'm going to read to you this week, and it's titled The Cookie. And the pictures that I have on my blogs don't always go with my blog because the story has to do with something why it is titled the title that it is. But I want you to check it out, and well, if you stick around today, I will share that with you. But in the future, I will continue to have new blogs and things like that. Something that I do with every guest is I give them cookies here on the show. And what I'm excited and is fun, I'll go out and about and I'll call it spreading cheer to folks in the community. And what I do is the cookie recipe that I have on a recipe card, and those cards also talk a little bit about Down Home with Tina, just spreading cheer and joy. And with that also being said, this week, my guests, I think that it is a safe thing to say is they are always spreading cheer and bringing joy, and I'm so excited to have them with me. It's going to be Mich Campbell from Campbell's Countertops, also Chelsea Kyann LaGrasse, who has her own business. And before I go, you're probably wondering what this is all about. Yeah, you know, I'm an 80s girl, so I had to bring some 80s into my exercise. So I've got my leg warmers on with my 80s shoes, and we're gonna have a good time this week. I'll be back in just a few minutes. It's Down Home with Tina.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm a recovering addict. For 10 of the last 11 years, I've been struggling with addiction, homelessness, incarceration, and just loneliness. However, since getting clean this past year, I've accomplished more than I have in those 10 years combined. After attending outpatient counseling services, inpatient counseling services, living in a sober living house, and attending 12-step meetings, I've been able to regain control of my life and begin to achieve goals I've always dreamed of. Addiction can destroy lives in many ways. Whether you need help with childcare or financial assistance, everyone deserves a new beginning. Recovery supports are just that, supports for recovery. My life mattered. Your life matters too.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. The reason why I am dressed like this today, and I do not dress like this when I'm exercising because I think I would look a little ridiculous, but I thought it would be fun to bring the little bit of 80s to this week's show because of my guests both being involved with exercise and health and fitness. And I have Chelsea LaGrasse with me. She is owner and founder of Chelsea Kyann, which is her business, and I'm so excited to have her because Chelsea, I'm pretty sure, not just myself, but with a lot of people in the community, you have really made such a positive impact on them with what you do. And I'm so excited. I've got goosebumps right now just having somebody in my presence because you're motivational and you bring, I feel like, cheer and joy into the homes and you have, I don't know for how long, so we're going to find out a little bit about that. How long have you been in the fitness world?
I've been in the fitness world about 10 years now. So I graduated from Hocking College back in 2011 and started doing personal training and teaching fitness classes right after I graduated.
Why did you decide to choose that kind of career?
I always was an active person, and I enjoyed helping other people and sharing my knowledge, and I was just passionate about health and fitness, and so I kind of fell into personal training and really loved it and just continued on with it.
Did you have somebody that influenced you to do that, or it was just something you felt like you were born to do?
My parents, when I was around like teenager, junior high years, they started getting into health and fitness and taking better care of themselves, and so they were a good example to me of how to do that, and they got us into exercise classes at the Y, and that's kind of what sparked everything.
I love it, I love it. Why did you decide to go out and venture and do your own business and have your own business?
I worked actually at the YMCA for about 10 years, and it was always my goal to have my own business and be my own boss, and I felt like I had gained enough experience and education to finally go out and do that and take that step. And honestly, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
For folks who are on the fence about choosing and making that big, huge decision on going out on their own and it being a dream, what kind of advice can you give to them to share with them to maybe take that step and move forward?
Yeah, it's definitely scary to go out on your own, but I feel if that's what you really want to do with your life and that's your passion, that you should do it, to just be patient with the process and to do what you know that you love to do and whatever that may be, and just work hard and it will happen for you.
You have some really, and I think I'm using the correct word for it, it's safe to say, intense videos that you put out on your Facebook page. And when I see those and I go, wow, that's really getting right to the point when it comes to self-defense. Do you mind talking a little bit about that?
Not at all.
And why you do that?
Yeah. So I started teaching self-defense after I had been training mixed martial arts for a few years, and I got into that because I wanted to learn self-defense for myself, and the only gym in the area was actually like a martial arts gym, and it was another challenge for me as far as fitness and competition, and it gave me a lot of confidence in myself too. And I previously had been in an abusive marriage, and that's what motivated me to start learning how to defend myself and stand up for myself. And now I feel like I have enough knowledge to share that with other people, and I realize how prevalent that problem is and how much people need it.
With your own, you have a child of your own. Do you really try to instill in her the importance of that, of doing the same thing to protect herself?
Absolutely, yeah. She takes martial arts classes. She does kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, and I talk to her about these things and why this is important. So yeah, definitely.
When it comes to health and fitness, how is that different than maybe, or do you include that in the type of personal training or training that you offer to your clients?
I do include it if that's something that someone is interested in, because training self-defense is just like exercise. You have to have muscle memory and consistently do it for it to be effective. So try to make it an active part of their life so they can incorporate it into many different ways.
Doing that and adding that into a regular routine of your, I guess, call it exercise, do you work different muscles when you do the self-defense and the martial arts?
I would say, yeah, it's more of a whole body moves most of the time, and it's usually more explosive than just weightlifting or running or things like that. So it's definitely a different movement, and you're using all of your muscles instead of like squats isolates one muscle, you know what I mean, or a few different muscle groups. So it's a whole body experience for sure.
If you have two exercises to encourage people to do, I know that might be a tough question for you, especially you are very, very healthy, and I know you work all the muscles. Do you have any, maybe 2 or 3, that you really recommend folks, if you do nothing else, do this?
I would say squats and planks are probably the 2 that you could do that would hit a lot of different muscle groups in just those 2 simple exercises, and they're very functional too.
Yeah, and to go back to the Y, I remember seeing you from time to time doing, because you did some personal training and stuff there as well.
Oh yeah.
Do you create a plan for every person that every one of your clients?
Yes, yeah. So usually I meet with them once or twice a week, and then I give them workouts to do on their own outside of that. And I've used a training app to use that, so trying to get a little bit more technological with things and stay connected with them even when they're not with me at the studio.
What is your contact information for anybody who you have inspired so far, hopefully through the show or even on your Facebook page? What is your Facebook page? We don't want to forget to share that.
Yeah, my Facebook, you can just look me up at Chelsea Kyann LaGrasse and add me as a friend that way, or my business page is Chelsea Kyann Coaching. Instagram is Chelsea Kyann as well, so that's usually the best way to get a hold of me.
That's right, because you do personal coaching as well,
yeah,
don't you? And that's the motivational, I think the real motivational side of it. Okay, so your favorite down-home moment, because I've got a couple of other things for you before we go.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint because I've lived in Lancaster for so long and I've grown up here, but we live close to the bike path over by the softball park, and so I like to take my daughter down there and we either ride the bike or I run and she rides her bike, just experiencing the nature back there and letting her get to know the city more. So.
It's so beautiful, and right now with all the greenery, it's just gorgeous, and you can hear the birds and things like that. So I also wanted to just tell you that I really want to thank you for what you've done on Facebook, and this is one of the main reasons as well I wanted to have you on the show today, is because I wanted to highlight you and give you some gifts just to thank you for what you're doing on Facebook, because during COVID and all that we've been going through, we've been stuck at home, and a lot of folks have been just feeling ick.
Yeah.
You know, we're home, we can't do anything, but you were still that person at no charge, got on Facebook Live, wasn't it live that you did it?
I've done several live videos and posts and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you were just doing things to say, hey, let's do this, or I encourage this, and your motivational talks and things like that. So, with that being said, I want to go ahead. I know this contradicts everything probably that we talked about, but we all need treats every now and again, right?
I eat treats too, so it's okay.
Right. We have to just monitor them, right? Here we go, we're social distancing.
Thank you, those look really good.
With your cookies, I give a recipe. I sometimes will go around out and about nowadays and spread cheer is what I call. So it's just a little bit about myself and the recipe for the cookies. And then this is from the Frame Shop, a gift certificate from Cindy and Steve Smith.
That is so sweet.
A certificate from Walker's Shoe Center.
Oh, awesome.
From Melissa Walker and all of those, her team over there.
Well, that is so awesome.
We just thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep striving and motivating folks and keep them going with it. And folks, I will be right back here in just a couple of minutes. I have got another gal who she does exercise, and she doesn't know that we're highlighting her because of something that she did pretty much the same but a little bit different of what Chelsea Kyann has done on Facebook and Facebook Live. We just keep it real here on Down Home with Tina, and we're going to get real and have a blast, and we'll continue it in just a minute. It's Down Home with Tina.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I am your host, Tina Thompson, and I have an awesome gal who's been doing some awesome things in our community during COVID and when everything started. And she's got a fun story because I caught up with her a few days ago and asked her to be a guest for two reasons. She and her husband are owners of a local business called Campbell's Countertops. Her name is Mich Campbell, and she's also doing something else that, like I had mentioned, it's a lot of fun, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Of course, it has to do with exercise. That's why I still have my I do not wear a headband, folks, when I'm working out. I'm just saying, Mitch, I don't do it. I do glisten. I don't call it sweat or perspire. I glisten because ladies glisten, but I don't use this to catch it because I might get some kind of different looks or something. But you guys have Campbell's Countertops located in Lancaster. What were you going to say?
I have to correct you a little bit.
Oh.
I'd like to think that I'm part owner. I'm just a wife that works there. Jeff and his brother John own the business.
Oh, that's funny. We stand corrected then. Mitch just runs it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure it takes a team to really make it be as successful as it has been. I'm sure that's good to say, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you guys have such a great demos of different countertops and kitchen sets set up over at the store. Where are you guys located?
We're at 2055 East Main Street in Lancaster.
Okay.
It's easy to, if you go past the drive-in theater, you've went too far.
Yes.
That's why I tell people.
So how long have you been in business and why did you guys get started?
They've been in business since 1982, so about 38 years.
Nice.
And they started out, both brothers were unemployed. They'd both been laid off, couldn't find jobs. They started in their dad's garage and
Building countertops?
building countertops. They, a local business owner named Jack Reynolds kind of gave them a push start. He hired them as like subcontractors, and from then on they just grew and grew and grew and grew. We have our own business showroom. They don't work in a garage anymore. And we do more than just countertops now.
Yeah, you do. So with the countertop side of it, are there different types of countertops for different kinds of folks for what they're going to do in their kitchen?
Oh yeah. We sell laminate tops, which is your basic, I call it paper countertop.
Okay.
But the products have improved over your parents' laminate countertops. They're a lot more colorful, more durable than like something from the 60s and 70s. Then the next would be probably granite. We have quartz and corian. Did you want me to go through?
No, that's
bit?
perfect. Yeah, of a little bit of the differences of the.
Yeah. Granite is a hard product. It's one of the hardest products. You need to maintain it. A lot of people don't want to mess with that. So then you would jump to corian or quartz, which is both are non-maintenance products.
Oh.
Soap and water is all you need. You never have to seal it. Quartz is the big thing right now. It's really popular, and
what makes it so popular?
the colors.
Oh.
The colors are awesome. The one company we have has, I think, 175 colors now.
Wow.
And they range from white to orange and black. They have one that's a purple and gold. I believe it's the Minnesota Vikings, or that color.
Oh my goodness.
They have a countertop that they use in their football stadium that they sell. That's those colors, the team colors. So it's a gamut. It just you can't not find what you might like.
So the home that I just bought, I love the countertops. Couldn't even tell you what it actually is. This is awful. I'd have to have Mitch come in and say, yes, this is this or whatever, because I'd never asked them. I should actually contact them and ask them. But I think that some folks will pick their countertop and then do the rest of their kitchen.
I just talked to a lady yesterday, and she was so undecided about everything. I said, you need to sit down and pick the number one thing you can't live without. Is it your countertop? Is it your cabinets? Is it your flooring? We had one woman one time did her whole kitchen based on pottery that she had bought out west. So everything was based on the color of her pottery, and that's how she designed her kitchen.
That's the best way to do it.
Once you pick that one item that you can't live without, then you work everything else around that.
Well, that's this week's Down Home with Tina tip, Mitch. Thank you, because I wasn't quite sure what I would, because I'll sometimes have it separate. But that is huge. Somebody, for even like myself, it's overwhelming.
It is for a lot of
trying
people.
to do a kitchen, and I'd never even thought about choosing that one thing that you want to,
work around. So if you pick the flooring, if you fell in love with this flooring, now is it busy flooring? Is it just simple. Now you can do more interesting things above it.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put too many busy things together.
Nope.
So you want it to balance. So if you pick the one and you work around it, it's a lot easier than, well, I think I like this and I kind of like that, and then you can't decide what you want.
Mich, what are the other services that you do offer? You had mentioned more than just countertops.
I mentioned that we started out as only countertops. We also do cabinets and the sinks, faucets. I'm trying to think of what else. Bathrooms, showers, tubs, toilets, the whole thing. Basically what I tell people is we don't typically do flooring because we're all old and we can't get down on our knees.
We'll talk about that when we talk about exercising.
And we don't do tile work because
Okay.
that's too intricate.
Okay, so pretty much everything else. What's your contact information for anybody who wants to see your website, Facebook, or any of that?
Phone number first, 740-681-1978. Our website is campbellscountertops.com, and email would be Campbell without an S, countertops @msn.com.
You have done so many things, and the why workouts is something that I want to talk about. And I'm like, I could do an entire segment with that just alone, and I'm running out of time already. I knew we'd do that because I can just talk with you for so long. But Mich, you started doing why workouts during COVID on Facebook.
Yeah, we had to shut down our business basically during that time frame. So I had some extra time, and the Y asked, if you want to do some videos, we'll post them. You can post them for free. So in our showroom, I started out, I did, I think, about 2, maybe 3 weeks of workout videos in our showroom.
Love it.
And then I think May 4th came around, or somewhere around there. The Y was allowed to open up for employees to come in. So then I transferred over to River Valley campus and started doing videos there. And the videos were not just for Y members. They were open to the public. So I think it's very important, especially in a time like this when you have to isolate, to get some exercise, especially when you can't get outside, it's too hot or it's raining.
Yes.
Especially in this heat we've been having. You can sit in your home, you can sit in a chair and do some of the exercises, or you can stand up and join me and get a sweat on.
And I love it because you were talking when we were caught up the other day, you said, don't be a toad. And I was like, I was a toad. I was getting to where when I went to bed at night, my arms would fall asleep on me and it'd wake me up 2 or 3 times in the night. So I've changed my eating habits. I've started working out at the Y, running, and when I started doing that, I was like, just because of the age that I am, I feel bad for those folks who say I'm feeling this way because I'm old. No, you don't have to feel that way because of your age.
Oh, no.
You can make a difference.
Yeah, I have had 78-year-olds in my class.
Love it.
I'm 56. I can't do everything a 22-year-old can do, so I modify.
Right. We're not going to try it.
Right.
What is your favorite down-home moment real quick before we got to go?
Okay. My favorite moments were when my brother and I were in grade school. My mom worked during the day. It'd be the summertime. My dad would take us to Rising Park Monday through Friday. We would play on the playground equipment while he sat in the grass and looked for 4-leaf clovers. And he found a lot of them.
Aw, he did. Aw, I love that. And that was probably a moment of peace for him to just kind of do that.
Yeah, we were expending our energy on the monkey bars.
And he was having fun doing that. So I wanted to, Mich's Y Workouts, you've got 2 Facebooks. Back to that real quick.
Yeah.
Mich's Y Workouts, and then the other one is
Mich's Y Videos.
Videos.
And that's just videos. The Mich's Y Workouts has those cute little memes for encouragement, things like that. Yeah.
And then because of you doing what you do, I'm highlighting you today. I didn't know if you know this, social distancing, we slide cookies over. Cookies, because you work out so you can eat the cookies.
That's right. That's why I work out.
That's right. These are recipe cards that have a little bit about me, but I give you 2 so you can pass one on to spread cheer. If you want to share a cookie, you can. And
are you kidding?
The Frame Shop, a gift card from the Frame Shop.
Oh!
And Walker's Shoe Center, just for you. Goodness. Keep doing the positive and awesome things you're doing.
Exercise shoes.
That's right. Mitch, thank you so much. You guys follow Mitch. She's a joy and a treat and just so cheerful. And running into her, say hi to her. Don't literally run into her, please. That might
6
not
feet.
feel good. But yes, yeah, say it from a social distance with your mask on. Say it a little louder so she can hear you. I'm going to be back. We're going to talk about value and worth and my blog, The Cookie. It's Down Home with Tina.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. Down Home with Tina is brought to you by Walker Shoe Center, Huddle Tire Company, Fairfield Area Humane Society, and the Frame Shop. So I hope you will check them out. You can check them out on my website, downhomewithtina.com. This segment is about value and worth, and I gotta do it a little quick because I'm about out of time, folks. This is a blog that I've been doing on my website, and this one's should be up there now. This is titled The Cookie, and this picture that you see right here is what I'm referring to and what I talk about. So as I sit here and look at this picture, I see a man as one of the smartest men I've ever known. As a matter of fact, I always said if I were to have ever been a contestant on the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, he would, without hesitation, be my lifeline to call to ask a question, you know, to save me to continue in on the game. He once loved to work on cars to fix up and sell. He once had a 57 Chevy. Wish he still had that one. It was a beauty. You see, brains like he has is a true blessing. He didn't choose to go to college or be a scholar of any type. I never understood why he chose the path he chose. Let me explain why. Here's my blog. Here's my story. Roger was one of 7 children. He was one of the ones in the middle. He had 4 older brothers, 1 half-brother, and a brother younger than him and a sister. I don't know much about Roger when he was a child, but I do know a little about him as an adult. I know he had plans on going to college, but those plans changed when he found out he had a daughter on the way. After the first, a second came along about 14 months later. 5 years later was number 3. He continued to have children until there were a total of 5. Unlike in his family where there were mostly boys, his were all girls. He started his adult work life in a glass factory. He was a truck driver for a bit. At one point he was laid off, and the family pretty much scraped pennies for several years. Eventually he would get a job in a steel factory and work over 30 years in an extremely hot and uncomfortable atmosphere. Oh, and Roger had a love for music. He always had a record player in the house. I don't recall him being much of a singer, but he sure loved his records. He collected 33 and 45 vinyl records. This was in the 70s and early 80s, when music was awesome. If you read my blog, you know I'm an 80s girl. I'm sure the 70s music is why I fell in love with music in the first place. Anyway, if I recall, Roger usually made people laugh as well. That's a little about Roger when he was younger. Some would say Roger lived a simple life, but hard life. A life I never understood because he seemed to have had so much charisma and was so intelligent. I haven't gotten to the cookie part of my blog, and this is where I'm going to leave a cliffhanger for you, because I invite you to my website. I also have my Facebook page. Folks, this is about value and worth. So go to one of those, read those, and find out the end of the story and what it's about, because I think that you'll like it. It's pretty important that you know your value and worth, folks, because let's just say you're special. You're watching Down Home with Tina. Thank you so much. Have a great week. God bless. Good day.